All right, everybody, welcome. It's the January 23rd meeting of the Elk Creek Fire Protection Board of Directors. I will call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. And
your speaker, officer.
Is that me for sure?
Yeah, so turn your volume down.
Okay, would you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Sorry for the technical difficulties. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. And if you would, just remain standing because our firefighter Flip Koch is going to read our fallen firefighters of last month.
On December 19th, 2 deaths: Edward Tent, age 69, of occupational cancer, Nashville, Tennessee. That same day, Scott Leatham, also of occupational cancer, age 39, Phoenix, Arizona. On the 20th of December, also 2 deaths: Robert Talbot.
Recording in progress.
Age 55, occupational cancer, Chesterfield, Virginia. And Joseph Lynn Murphy, age 62, of a heart attack in Lexington, Tennessee. 21st of December, Jeffrey Albanese, age 49, medical emergency, Brockton, Massachusetts. Christmas Day, Jeffrey Young, age 61, occupational cancer, Sylvania, Ohio. New Year's Day, Stephen A. Monteiro Jr., age 53, of occupational cancer, Brockton, Massachusetts. January 5th, 2 deaths: Adalbert Duvelar, age 54, of occupational cancer in Hialeah, Florida. And Kevin Skinner, age 56, medical emergency, Orange County, California. 2 deaths also the following day, the 6th of January, Adam Cospa, age 41, medical emergency, Elkhart, Indiana. And Jeffrey Fiala, age 25, in a structure fire in Honolulu, Hawaii. The 8th of January, Christopher Jones, age 47, of occupational cancer, Portsmouth, Virginia. 2 deaths on the 11th of January, Christopher Higgins, age 46, medical emergency, Montgomery County, Maryland. And Mark Davis, age 51, of occupational cancer in Keokuk, Iowa. On the 12th of January, Donald Dallenbach, age 58, of occupational cancer, Henderson, Tennessee. And the 14th of January, Tina Massey, age 55, occupational cancer, St. Peters, Missouri.
I hope that's all, Flip.
That's it, sir.
Okay, please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Okay, Flip. Sir.
We don't have the numbers.
Well, yeah.
Do we have the totals for the board?
Yeah.
For the fallen? Okay. We
Oh, actually, no, they were not sent me. I'm sorry. I do not know. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to move into roll call of board members. Everyone is here. And I'd also like to note that Chief Ware will not be present today. He had a minor elective surgery, so we are going to be progressing without him. And we also have our counsel, John Camille, is on Zoom for us. And moving into our agenda, are there any additions or deletions or corrections for the agenda? Any additions, deletions, or corrections? No? None? All right, how about a motion to approve the agenda? Motion by...
second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That was everybody. that'll move us right into the public comment period. For everybody that will be speaking, if you would just bring yourself right up to the center of the back of our podium area so that the owl can capture your voice and your beautiful face. And we'll start off with Neil Whitehead.
Just a reminder, you have 3 minutes. I'll warn you at 1 minute and stop you at the buzzer.
May I approach the horseshoe?
Thank you.
Ready when you are, sir.
We are deep into the month of January, and it's customary in the United States for the chief executive of a government body to give the state address, state of the nation, state of Colorado, state of Jefferson County. I don't see a state of the Elk Creek Fire on the agenda tonight. If I were to give that state of the district address, I would say it is not good in terms of the relationship of the district to the residents and the electors of the district. In November 2023, a majority of 3,057 voters of the Elk Creek Fire Protection District rejected consolidation, with North Fork and Inner Canyon winning by 132 votes. After a period of about 11 months of complete silence to the community, undaunted, the 3 fire chiefs announced in a video on August the 17th, 24, they would seek to join the district's unification and merger process by statute, which does not require a vote of the people, which consolidation does. This is a clear violation of the will of the people. We filed an appeal of this unification process with the Jeffco Board of County Commissioners and separately with the 1st Judicial District. Unification is now on hold, and while the 3 districts are moving forward as if unification is a foregone conclusion, it is most certainly not. We believe this appeal will take several years before a final decision from the Colorado State Supreme Court. We, the appellants, this is sort of breaking news, believe it would be in the best interest of the electors, residents, and the district if a resolution of yes or no to join, that is unify, Oak Creek Fire with North Fork be placed on as a district-wide, everybody gets a paper ballot in Elk Creek, on the May 6th election. That's 103 days from now. If the ballot language is suitable to the appellants, of which I am one, we would agree to a stay in the appeal before the Board of County Commissioners before the election. If the election results in a yes vote for unification, we would drop all appeals. If the election results in a no vote, we would resume our appeals. Save Elk Creek Fire.
Thank you. That'll lead us to Mr. Koch.
Is it okay if I sit?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to address the Elk Creek Fire Protection District's Board of Directors. My name is Flip Koch. I reside in the Wobbly Valley area of Elk Creek. I'm a third-generation firefighter and a volunteer member of this fire protection district. However, I speak here, as always, as a private citizen informed by my years of fire and other emergency service. I'd like to call the attention of this group certain Financial considerations, per a recent Cora request, I have final tallies on Elk Creek's legal expenditures for 2024, which I wish read into the record. Total Elk Creek legal expenses in 2024, $31,561.06. Elk Creek Fire Protection District legal expenses in that year directly attributable to Director Charles F. Newby Jr., $14,381.50, or 45.6% of Elk Creek's annual total legal expenditures. Adding similar sums for 2023 already reported here, the current running total for legal expenses over these 2 years due to Director Newby are now $29,560.80, or 53.2% of total legal expenses over this 24-month period. Who knows how high these sums will go as Director Newby and Dr. Whitehead's challenges to unification work their way through the Jefferson County Board of County Commissioners and District Court. We taxpayers are paying dearly, both financially and in our own safety, for these men's ill-informed, misguided, politically slick, but socially inexcusable pursuit of red herrings. At a later date, I plan to make a more complete report here on the overall costs to Elk Creek of these men's procedural and legal challenges to the operational matter that is unification. I disagree with Dr. Whitehead on what this is about. As an early indication, more than 87% of Elk Creek's legal expenses in December were to address these obstructionist issues, and the overall potential costs I expect to be well into 6 figures. This is an inexcusable waste of taxpayer funds by a man who claims himself a fiscal conservative. I'm a fiscal conservative, Director Newby, you clearly are not. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Mr. Koch. And that leads us to Mr. Leo.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name's Al Leo. I live at 19293 Silver Ranch Road. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to the board. I urge this board to take every opportunity to remove the roadblocks to unification with Conifer Fire Protection District. The people in this room can make that happen. I attended the Conifer Fire Board of Directors meeting last week. It was great to see unification in motion, alignment of processes, elimination of redundant costs, unification of outside administrative services, all the things that you'd expect from unification and from which Elk Creek Fire will soon benefit. Speaking of benefits, North Fork and Inner Canyon contributed $3 million in reserves to Conifer Fire. No debt. Those reserves, when Conifer Fire happens, are available to everybody in the Elk Creek Fire Protection District. Think of that as 2 more fire engines, if you would, serving the people of Elk Creek Fire Protection District. I think that's a big W. Other benefits and other ways this is different from consolidation, 6 firefighters, not 18, at a second station will provide a reliable set of known resources that can respond. Implementing a unified command, control, and communication system to minimize response times and ensure coordinated large-scale wildfire responses. Expanding the mitigated wildland area to lower the risk of wildfires. Speaking of wildfires, Jefferson County completed their CWPP in October of 2024. In the wildfire risk assessment section, it says the highest regional action areas, there's 98 regional action areas in the CWPP, the highest risk ones, Coal Creek, Golden Gate, Foothills, Genesee, Evergreen, Elk Creek Fire Protection District, Inner Canyon Fire Protection District, West Metro, South Metro. The Elk Creek Inner Canyon CWPP points this out as well. Aspen Park and the surrounding areas are at greater risk of wildfire than 99% of communities both in Colorado and the U.S. I urge all board members to remove the roadblocks and make this happen for the benefit of the community, not personal agendas. Roadblocks directly undermine the efforts of this fire district and Jefferson County, putting the community's health, well-being, and safety at significant risk. Residents are being held hostage by 2 people standing on principle. I guess putting more people at higher risk in the process isn't a problem. I again urge the board to move forward with unification. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zeal. That will lead us out of public comment and into the approval of the regular board meeting minutes from December. We were able to take a look. I didn't see any changes. Does anybody have any additions, deletions, or corrections for the December 2024 board meeting minutes?
I make a motion to approve the December 2024 regular meeting minutes.
Before we make the motion, were there any
No.
additions, deletions, or
I
corrections?
saw everybody shaking their heads, so
Oh, okay.
don't forget.
None, and I abstained for those.
Oh, okay. All right. Any additions? Okay. We'll
I
entertain
read
a
a
motion.
fantastic set of minutes.
Wait,
Awesome. Amazing. You should do it every time.
let's not-
No, thank you.
let's not get into that response. There was a motion made.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on approving the minutes from December 2024? Hearing none, the motion to approve was made. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. There's none against, since we've had 3 and 1 abstention. Is that correct? All right, the motion carries. All right, nice job. And that will lead us to your treasurer's report.
Review of the, yeah, we do have it, okay. It's up on the screen over there if anybody wants to see it. Okay, so this is the December 2024 financial report. I thought it was gonna be my last report for Owl Creek, but a couple of individuals have decided that that is not what's gonna happen. So, next slide. Oak Creek finished the year in good shape. $8,711,189 of revenue. Expenses of $6,580.95. Is that there?
I know.
I think we skipped a slide.
Possibly.
Person?
Did you go back? That one, yeah, that's the right slide, sorry. Net income of $2,131,000. So the positive news in the net income is very welcome. Net income was 124% of the forecast. Mainly responsible for that were property taxes, specific ownership taxes and ambulance billings. A lot of that positive income comes from SURF reimbursement, so we will actually look at that on the later slide. Expenses were overall at 97% of forecast, again contributing to the positive net income for the year. Just a reminder that the SURF revenue is a reimbursement from the state. Next slide, please. Property taxes are a big contributor to the revenue that Oak Creek has to pay bills and pay firefighters and things like that, put money in reserves. Full year property tax revenue for 2024 was $4,917,000 change. Forecast was $4,535,000, so considerably over the property tax that was anticipated. I can't tell you why, other than we just got more money from the state from the county than they anticipated we would get, because the amount of revenue we get for property taxes is given to us by the county. We don't come up with a number ourselves. If anyone has a calculator out, that's $437,000 over what was initially forecasted. Next slide. Let's talk about SURF. SURF this year was basically over $2 million. We anticipated that SURF would be more like a little over $1 million, like $1,341,000. So I apologize, but I'm stuffed up. I apologize. So, no, I have tissues, but thanks. Oh my gosh, that went on recording. Okay, so we are left with basically operational expenses for SURF were $1,471,000. And at this point, the revenue that was booked for, if you look at your financials, the revenue that was booked for SURF is $2,040,348. The reason that is booked in December has to do with revenue recognition for government facilities, governments, basically. So we're allowed to book revenue. In fact, we are guided, mandated, if you will, to book revenue at the end of the year that we are expecting to receive in the first 60 days. And Barbara, correct me if I'm talking out of turn. We are expecting to, by the end of February, to receive $2,040,348 in revenue for SURF. Right now, we've received $1,078,541. We have $961,647 to be received. It will be received in January and February of 2025. If it is not, then there will be an entry made in 2024 to reverse the revenue that we anticipated.
Sharon, I have a question for you. So we booked, as you say, $2 million in SURF, but we budgeted $1.3 million.
Okay, SURF is impossible to forecast. We do not
Right.
know how many
Okay.
fires.
That
there are
answers
going
my
to be.
question. Okay,
Okay,
gotcha.
so
Okay.
it's just, it's not possible to really forecast it accurately. Okay, just for wins, we had 52 out-of-district fires. Some of them were multiple times that fire, some of them many days, sometimes weeks. And the severity of the fires in 2024 were much greater than the severity of the fires in 2023. So that is part of the reason why the $2 million reimbursement and by all of the, because of all the people that actually went to those fires. Did you want to add anything, Greg?
No, I think it's tough to determine. You used your best guess from the last couple of years
Yes.
to budget for that, and we saw an increase of fires. And I think Captain Yellen would be able to speak to the severity of the fires that we had in 2024, but I think we all would agree that this is the new norm.
Just look to California right now. I mean, there's like 5, 6 fires, I think now, that are raging in California, and it's dry.
A new one
We were
today.
dry here, new one today. That was yesterday, okay. Did you use fire? Okay, yeah. So, I think it's fair to say that we took the 1.2 million that was actually received in 2023 and then again in 2024, and we upped that a little bit. But we obviously missed that. And the reason we missed that is because of the severity of the fires and the more frequency of the fires. So I hope everybody's got a go back. That's all I can say. One more slide, if you'll change, if you'll do one more slide. There we go. Expenses booked in the month of December 2024 were $445,895. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the expenses for December 2024.
Do we have a second on that motion?
So moved. Or second, sorry.
Any discussion on Director Wood's motion?
That's the same amount that you see in the financial statements that you're in there.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Director Woods made a motion to approve the Sage financial ledger expenses recorded in December 2024 of $445,895. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's unanimous. I didn't hear, I think I heard all 4. So is there any noes, abstentions?
No.
That motion carries. All right, thank you, Director Woods.
Thank you.
All right, that leads us into Chief Ware's report. And I'm not sure if it would be appropriate for me to read this. I know
We're all capable of reading that.
Yeah, we've all received it. And I would ask that anybody that does have any questions related to anything in relation to Chief Ware's report, that we carry that into February and just bring that up. But that information is there for us to digest. And then if there's any outstanding issues in February, we'll bring them forward. All right, so that leads us into old business. And we have heard Chief Ware speak of this in the past. We were able to get to the point that we were approved to continue with the lease agreement for the 2 fire engines. So we've had discussion on this in the past. Is there a need for any other discussion related to the lease agreement for the fire engines?
No.
Chuck, you have any? Unless, okay, all right. And let me just get to the whereas, and I'll read that.
Did we vote on that last time?
Is that, you find the page? Are you looking
I
at?
think no, because there's nothing in here about lease agreements, there's no resolution or anything.
The vehicle lease on old business, item number 1.
Right,
But there's no
but
lease
there's
agreement.
no,
Oh, it's not.
there's no document.
Yeah. So we discussed the lease and the potential complications. Chief Ware was able to negotiate around those concerns. And we were supposed to approve the lease, but there's no lease to
There's
review.
nothing to.
So we'll have to, I move to revisit this at the February meeting.
I thought wasn't the lease sent out to everybody?
It's not in the packet.
No, it wasn't in the packet,
Okay.
I thought it was sent separately.
No, I don't have it.
I don't have it
I just opened my my fire department email, and I don't have anything regarding the lease.
I believe this is a timing issue too, is that correct? Do you remember that? Because what I'll do is I call a recess and then we'll make sure that everybody gets a copy and have a chance to look at it.
We can, yeah, I mean, we
Yeah,
can
because-
suspend the meeting and resume via a Zoom session if it's a timing issue.
Let me just.
Chief Aronson, are you aware?
Actually, can you release John Camille so we can speak to him real quick? He'll be aware of it. Hey, John, are you on?
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Yeah,
John, is this
can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I might have erred if I was supposed to forward this lease to all my colleagues. Is there a timing issue? If so, I want to get this copied and have all of the directors look at it, and then after a brief recess, call back into order the meeting so that we can address this issue.
To be honest, I can't quote the immediacy of the timing issue. I do believe there is a hold on the pricing and the rate lock. I don't know that, to be honest, whether that's like today or, 4 days from now. But I do know there was a timing component to acceptance, and that, I think it was discussed and planned on it being approved this evening. So I would say probably at best we'd be reconvening a special meeting fairly quickly. I don't think, based on my recollection, it would be able to be tabled all the way to the February meeting without causing an issue there with the pricing.
Well, so we just need a 24-hour notice to reconvene. Can we get this information so that we could reconvene on a 15-minute Zoom session on Monday? It's too late for anything before 6:30 tomorrow.
I know we want to have this done in short order, and
Chief Aronson or Captain Yon, do we have any details on that that you could share with
Dave
us?
said that we need to have it done before the end of the month.
I can copy the agreement for you and pass it around.
You have the lease agreement?
I can copy your copy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna call a brief recess, if everybody would just be patient with us while we work this out. At 6:38. And then can we get Mr. Camille available to speak? Okay, he's still. And then Director Newby, you had a
Yeah.
question of Chief Aronson.
Yeah, a question for the chief. So I see the payments start at the end of this year. So when do we expect delivery of the engines? Are they both going to be delivered at the same time or staged, or how will that work?
So a couple questions there.
In sync with the payments.
Yeah, so a couple questions there. My understanding is that this lets us get in line to await delivery, which could be 2 to 3 years away at a minimum.
Aha, okay.
Whether they were delivered together, I couldn't answer. It would have everything to do with production. I don't know why they wouldn't start and work on both at one time.
So, the way this lease to buy will work is that we start paying money according to this schedule.
Correct,
And then we hope that they deliver as soon as they possibly can.
correct.
There's no guaranteed delivery date, but we're still obligated to pay the lease payments according to this schedule.
That is my understanding.
Okay. But make sure that we're clear on that.
Hopefully that's made clear in the documents you have in front of you.
Right, but not having had time to read it,
Sure, but those are the things you're gonna want to look at.
yeah.
All right, Mr. Camille, I know that you and I spoke on the phone and you said you had some information that you would like to provide to the board in terms of your analysis of the lease agreement. Stand by, John. We're trying to make sure we got you. As a point of information for everybody, while we get Mr. Camille on, the chief and first off, I will again formally apologize to my colleagues, I had this information and this is just one thing through my oversight I did not forward off, and I apologize for no other reason, it's just oversight. Secondly, one of the reasons we are leasing the vehicles and not purchasing is because it is a great time to lease and a great time to have money in the bank. And we are making far more money now than we would if we were to cash this out. And with the returns that we're seeing in relation to the investments that we have, it is the belief that we should lease right now and continue to allow our money to make money. And that is the basis behind leasing versus purchasing. Mr. Camille, are you on? Uh-oh. Any luck, Barb? I can call him and we can put my phone next to the owl.
I don't know why it's not.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We're having a slight problem with the Zoom. I'm going to put you right next to the owl so we can hear it and discuss this with you in terms of your analysis. So I'm going to have you, at any time you can speak, John.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to give us just your analysis.
Okay. Yeah, so just as background, I have reviewed the lease and I'm prepared to provide the opinion of counsel that's requested by the leasing documents. And as essentially as background, this actually is the same company that the district previously entered a substantially similar kind of financing, a lease purchase agreement with back in 2014. And so the way that they approached it was they actually essentially use this as kind of an amendment or a continuation, if you will, of that initial lease purchase. So no real substantive legal changes, from that initial 2014, which our office actually reviewed and approved in coordination with the board at that time as well. But I have reviewed the legal terms of the standard, lease purchase. We didn't have any concerns with that. And as for people that maybe don't know, what that is, essentially it's a way for governments to leverage their position with lenders because the interest paid on these is tax deductible, that they essentially are willing to grant these lease purchases to buy equipment most commonly. You can even do them for buildings in certain contexts, but they basically have a lien interest in the equipment as additional security, but they lend at a kind of a more preferred rate. And at the end, once you pay off the lease purchase amount, of course, then the title transfers, just like financing a car, if you will. So that's the kind of basic structure of this. I don't have any concerns, as I said, with legal components. And really, from a board standpoint, kind of what we primarily be looking at is, of course, being aware of the amount, the principal lending, and the rate that it's being lent at, but also that this equipment is needed, for a governmental function that the district has jurisdiction over. So here, this is the purchase of 2 engines. So I think we're squarely within that as far as the basis for it. And really, it's just, you all being comfortable with this financing approach, and certainly happy to answer any questions about it. But that's kind of really what we're talking about ultimately is just the financing to purchase these 2 fire engines at the total principal amount of about $2 million. Total cost, I think, comes in at about 2.6 with a 4.99 interest rate. So ultimately, as far as action, you'd be authorizing the lease purchase and authorizing President Pixley and Chief Ware to execute the necessary documents to confirm that agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Camille. Any questions for Mr. Camille?
John, this is Sharon Woods. I have a question. And again, I apologize, but I haven't had time to look at all the documents in detail. Where does it say this is 2 engines?
Right on the front page, quantity 2.
Right here.
Okay, sorry.
Exhibit A, quantity.
It's quantity 2.
My apologies.
Yeah, there are a couple places I think that list that, but primarily Exhibit A
Right.
it lists the make and model, and then the quantity is.
So the other question is, there's no scheduled delivery date. So we're paying on this for a number of years, but is there something in here that says that they're obligated to deliver these engines by a certain time? Like no later than kind of time?
This is different. This is purely the financing of the engines. The delivery is with the direct contract for purchase with the actual supplier, which I believe here is the front range fire apparatus. So there was a separate, when the board previously, and I admit I don't recall last year what month it was, but the board previously had approved the purchase, the ordering of these 2 apparatus for this amount. There was a question at the time, depending on, I think, primarily how unification went, whether or not financing was going to be needed, based on the timing. So that's why the financing wasn't addressed immediately at the time the initial kind of just purchase. But there is a separate contract for the purchase of these apparatus with front range fire apparatus. And so that's what would have the delivery date components in it. This is purely just the financing. So basically what ends up happening is the lease company confirms with the supplier after these lease documents are finalized and signed the leasing company pays the supplier, and then that will keep, them on the track to be built and delivered per that contract. And then we just, the district will begin to make payments on the lease agreement. So that two separate kind of things. That's why you don't see a specific delivery date in these contract documents here.
Thank you, I appreciate the explanation. So, we did approve the purchase of these two. So now what we're approving is another $600,000 to lease the engines as opposed to outright buy them.
Essentially, yes.
Okay, so now it's gonna cost us another $600,000 to purchase these engines.
But we're,
Yes and no.
but we're earning interest.
Yeah, it's gonna cost us $600,000, but by keeping our money in C-Safe and Colo Trust, we're earning 4.4. So we're earning money on
I
the
understand,
money we're spending.
earning money,
But yeah,
net, it's costing us $600,000 extra to lease these engines versus purchasing.
Yep.
Okay.
John, is there a prepayment penalty if we decide to pay them off sooner on the lease?
That is
I
a great
didn't,
question.
I
don't
didn't see
believe so.
anything. So we can
Yeah.
save interest expense and pay off principal sooner.
Yeah, and you can see in,
Is there a prepayment?
sorry, I'm flipping back and forth between,
I didn't see
Documents.
anything, but I read it for
Look at
context.
Exhibit B, that's the payment schedule. That reflects the 10-year payment structure with the combination of principal and interest, but at the end, there's the purchase option price. So at any point, you can choose to pay the purchase option price. So even if you get into year 3 or 4, you've made your payments, you can go and look at that, and if the district has that, available to it, they can opt, to, just have the full purchase price then. So I know that's always an option, and
Okay.
in general, there's, as a matter of course, no prepayment penalties typically in these. I'm gonna hedge myself real quick and just look to make sure, because
You're okay.
I think it's in section 3.04, I believe is the relevant section in the lease agreement itself. And again, this is the same terms that were agreed to back in 2014. That basically you provide a 30-day notice
Yeah,
that
we're
you
not
want to
present.
exercise the option for the total purchase option price. And in that, there's no mention whatsoever of any kind of prepayment penalty. So, yeah, that's and I certainly would have flagged that in my review. I don't ever recall reading one. And that's the primary section of the agreement that deals with exercising that option.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see anything as I scanned through it, but like I said, I read for context.
Excuse the interruption, but Chief advises delivery is expected in 45 to 48 months.
Okay,
Was his last discussion with the manufacturer.
yeah.
From today,
From signing of the agreement.
signing of the agreement.
I would like to make a motion to approve the lease as stated.
All right, there was a motion to approve the amendment to the master lease purchase agreement dated November 21, 2024 between XIII Leasing Organization, Corporation that is, and the Elk Creek Fire Protection District. Is that the motion you're making?
Yes, sir.
I'll second it.
Second by Director Newby. Any other discussion, and especially while we have Mr. Camille on the line? Any discussion on this motion? Again, I see the validity in Director Wood's questions, but I also recognize what the market is doing right now and how we are trying to be fiscally responsible and assuring that we can make the money that's necessary to continue with this organization. So, any other questions? Any other questions? Hearing none, there was motion made to accept the amendment to the master lease purchase agreement dated on November 21, 2014 between Tax Exempt Leasing Corporation and Elk Creek Fire Protection District. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Against? Abstentions? All right, the motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Camille. I'm going to grab my phone and we're going to go into new business.
All right.
All right. First item in new business is the 2025 election resolution. We've all had a chance to look at that. Let me get the right one here. That's a DOE. All right. Resolution 2025-1 is established.
They're out of order on the agenda, that I was just gonna make a notation for you. 01 is the meeting schedule, 02 is appointing the DEO, but they're flip-flopped on the agenda.
We'll
So
see
read them however you
we'll-
wish.
I think we're okay to accept the DEO first.
Yeah, it's just the way they're
Yeah.
numbered.
All right, Resolution 2025-2, appointing a designated election official and authorizing the designated election official to cancel election for the regular election to be held on May 6, 2025.
So moved.
A motion made.
Second.
All right. Any discussion on this motion? We've been here before. We understand that we need to have that expert, and Sarah Shepherd has assisted us in the past. She will be named again if this resolution passes. Any other discussion on the motion about assigning the DEO? Last time. Hearing none, there was a motion made to appoint a designated election official and authorize the designated election official to cancel election for the regular election to be held on May 6, 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstentions? All right. Resolution 2025-2 carries. Moving to Resolution 2025-1, establishing a regular meeting schedule of the Elk Creek Fire Protection District Board of Directors for calendar year 2025.
So moved.
Motion made.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion on this motion? Any discussion? Any questions?
No.
Hearing done, there was a motion made to establish the regular meeting schedule of the Elk Creek Fire Protection District Board of Directors for calendar year 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Abstentions? That motion also carries. All right, again, as we enter adjournment, I want to apologize for belaboring tonight's meeting on my error. Each of you, I apologize, I should have had that out to you.
You're
I
fired.
Apology accepted. I'm not gonna fire him, come on.
You're gonna fire a volunteer, Jesus.
I motion to adjourn.
All right, motion to adjourn, second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, adjourned at 6:57. Thank you all for attending.